yes, we are back to audio. We are not doing videos. I'm so sorry you can't see our sexy faces this week, but we are back for the Wasting Your Time podcast. We're doing the Clash of Champions. J-Dub, tell them who you are. Tell them that you're alive. Tell them that you're kicking ass this week.
I'm alive. It's partially my fault that we're not doing. It is my fault that we're not doing video. I am woefully unprepared for to do video this time, but we will do video for Hell in Cell. So the next one we'll do video for. I can promise that. So it's been one of those days where it's just I'm running out of energy, but I've saved enough just for this show. So yeah, we're doing Clash of Champions. Welcome to the Wasting Your Time podcast. Of course, you can find the Wasting Your Time podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Yeah, that's where you can find us. How are you, Bobby?
I'm my head's above water. I'm preparing for a show this weekend in Saskatoon. I just finished a whole bunch of deadlines this past week, so I'm in the middle. Like by next week, I should be. I might actually be done all my work, so it'll be the first time since January that's happened. So yeah, it's kind of a surreal feeling, but I'm still prepared. I'm sure I'll get through it.
Yeah, that's kind of another reason why we didn't do videos, because I know you have a show coming up, and I didn't want to stress everybody out. Trying to get a video out.
I'll consider it video.
So let's jump right into it with news. I only have 3 things this week, but let's start with last week seemed like a long week in the world of wrestling. Let's talk about the one thing that dominated the majority of the conversation: the curious case of the AEW Championship. This is it a work? Is it not a work? Is this just a limo driver that forgot to put it back in the car after leaving it on the trunk? Did somebody actually steal it? Where to begin with this one?
The spin machine that is Chris Jericho is like at God level, man. Like the way barely anybody was talking about the championship being stolen, but the amount of stuff that was coming out of that win, like it was sheer genius what they were able to do with this stuff. Like it wasn't like no one was blaming Jericho. They were just taking his new hot catchphrase and making it a trend on Twitter and everywhere. Like you couldn't go anywhere on social media without hearing the bubble. So I mean, like good on them that they were able to control the narrative this entire time.
I'm kind of glad they found it right away too. Otherwise, that would have been something funny going into the first TV show. Mm-hmm. So let's just kind of let's break down the bullet points of this one. So I guess Jericho flew home late Saturday night, early Sunday, got into Florida, got into the airport because I guess he flew on a private jet, so he took a limo to a steakhouse. I guess he picked up the wrong bag, so he sent the limo driver back to the airport to pick up his bag, and the title was in the car. And then when the limo driver came back, the title was not in the car. So he filed a police report with the Tallahassee Police Department. Then this didn't come out. What was it? Tuesday. This didn't come out till.
I believe so.
It was Tuesday, and so it was like, oh, this is weird that somebody has stolen the AEW title. And then the next day, it was turned into the police department by some guy who found it on the side of the road.
Which was I think the weirdest part of the whole story was that it was found, but it was literally found by just a random dude just finding it on the road.
Yeah.
He even put it up on, I think, Craigslist to try and get it returned to its owner because he thought it was a replica belt.
Yeah, it was a replica, not a $30,000 $30,000 title. Of course, before it was found, Jericho delivers a promo launching a worldwide investigation from his hot tub. Wearing
and the fact that he would pour his glass of bubbly into a glass, but then he would just drink from the bottle regardless. Yeah. Oh my God. I was howling at that. That was incredible.
It's amazing how AEW lately has been like something can go horribly wrong and they seem to somersault out of it into a full running stride again. Mm-hmm. Back at Double or Nothing with Pac not being able to show up, and then Moxley dropping out a week before the pay-per-view, and Pac filling in that place. Now the title going missing, and then things seem to be firing on all cylinders so far for them.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that you're just waiting for the next calamity to hit and seeing how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, but last week was dominated mostly by AEW, which is good for them because even the dumb as the story is, it turned out to be good press for them. So
big time. Yeah, I think it got some pretty good coverage from a lot of different mediums. So.
Mainstream media too.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just us wrestling people. Yeah, this is it was a weird story. Just a small note. I guess tickets for Full Gear went on sale on Friday or Saturday. I can't remember. Not a sellout yet, so. But tickets are still moving. Tickets have slowed down for the last few shows, so, but that was expected. So. Yeah,
it was about to happen. But I mean, they've had a very good streak. Like a month's worth of shows have sold out. So I mean, that's pretty phenomenal. And maybe then when we start to see them start to move a little bit more west, then I'm sure we're going to start seeing more sellouts again.
Yeah, mostly this has just been, like I said, they've been running mid-sized buildings, so they'll eventually sell out these seats. I'm not worried of them not selling out. It's just the ticket demand is slowing down because we're moving into the heavy times because SmackDown's moving to Fridays and
it's Christmas time, so I mean, there's people who are a little bit more conscious of what they want to spend the money on.
There's not the next big holiday is not till Thanksgiving, and then Christmas after that. That's all I have for AEW. We don't talk about Impact a lot, but yesterday they actually had some good news. Anthem has bought a majority stake in Access TV, so Impact is moving to Access.
Is that for sure?
Yes, that's confirmed.
Okay, so. Yeah, I know it's been confirmed that they're interested in purchasing.
Oh, they closed it yesterday. They had a press release and everything.
Okay, cool.
They are now the majority stakeholder in Access TV, and Impact will be moving over to Access.
Very good. Good for them.
So finally some good news for the long-struggling Impact Wrestling. We don't talk about them a lot, but I check in on them from time to time, and this deal with Access can only mean good things, especially for the Fight Network up here, because hopefully now that they own Access, we can finally get some of the newer New Japan stuff, even the live shows that they do with New Japan and stuff. So if that leads,
and the fact that New Japan and I think Women of Wrestling
that too
is all on Access as well. There could be some really good interpromotional stuff that could be happening that we never really would have expected.
Yeah, and like I said, any newer New Japan stuff, because I think that's the thing holding me back with New Japan. Is I'm not going to seek out this a legal stream to watch New Japan or anything like that. It's just if it's not readily, I'm not paying for New Japan World, so if it's not readily available via then I'm not going to seek it out. But if this leads to more New Japan contact on the Fight Network, which is a TV channel I have, I'll definitely tune in. So,
very cool.
That's only news for Impact. Finally, this was announced today. The WWE Network announced the tiered system finally. So there will be a free service, which is basically all the stuff they put on the website and their YouTube pages and stuff, and probably the pre-shows and stuff. The regular one, which is basically what the normal network stuff is, and then the platinum service. Details are scarce, but it's expected things like Evolve and Progress and ICW are going to show up on the network, and there's possibly going to be more live events for Progress and all them on the network. And also they announced a download and go feature for the premium thing, so you can download events to your whatever device and watch it on the go and stuff.
Man, why can't they just do that for the normal thing? That'd be premium.
Because then they can get more money for premium stuff.
Jerks.
And just one small final WWE. I guess they're switching up the takeover schedule for next year.
Yes, I heard it. That one I heard.
The takeover is not going to be a part of Royal Rumble weekend starting. It's going to be Worlds Collide, and they're going to announce the takeover schedule soon, because I guess the new takeover schedules, they're going to be on USA and stuff.
Oh, really? It's not going to be a network thing?
Nope.
Interesting.
Well,
I mean, that definitely gets more eyes on this.
I mean, you go from 1.2 million to 150 million, so
yeah, exactly.
The reach is going to be so that's that. Yeah, the only thing I'm concerned about, they haven't announced any Canada TV stuff yet.
No.
So even with AEW, and we're less than a month now, less than a week for NXT, but less than a month for AEW, and no news on TV for Canada. So I'm quite interested to see how they handle that, because how are we supposed to talk about this stuff if we can't watch it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, NXT we can watch the next day, but
regardless, it's something. So it's a big talking point. It's something that as a business, for a new company, you want to make sure the most eyes get to it, and you're missing a whole section of the audience that's just a couple miles up north.
They had a UK TV deal well before they even have a Canadian TV deal.
Yeah, so it's just bonkers.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have some news coming out in the next couple of days for all that stuff. That's it for news, unless you know of anything.
Nothing really. There was that thing with that indie show where that referee got jacked up pretty bad.
Yeah, that's an England thing.
Oh yes, that's right.
That's Rev Pro, so that's New Japan's British partner.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up.
That's well, apparently the guy that did that has pretty bad reputation.
And I know he has been suspended indefinitely. I think he's probably even been fired, but I don't think.
Like, if I can remember correctly, Pete Dunne shits on the guy all the time. Any chance he gets to shit on the guy, he takes free reign to shit on him. Like, he does not like. Apparently, the guy that did, I can't remember his name, but he has a horrible reputation in the British scene. Apparently.
Christ.
So, don't beat up referees for real. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, of all the performers should know that it is a friggin' work. So I mean, I don't understand why you got to beat up on a ref. It's not their actual decision. You jag off.
Yeah. That's it for news. Let's move on to Clash of Champions on this Sunday on the WWE Network. Interesting note before we went live on air. We were going to talk about I guess we'll still talk about King of the Ring, but they've moved the final to Monday now. So it's not going to be on the card. On the PPV
really?
Card.
I didn't know that.
No, there's a graphic in the corner or after the last match saying the final's on Monday now.
What?
So it's Baron Corbin versus Chad Gable in the final on Monday.
Good God!
So
I wonder what the hell that's for. Is it maybe just to get a rating for Monday?
Well, if you do look at there's 11 matches already on the card for this Sunday.
True.
Like, when you have a pay-per-view that advertises every title must be defended, you kind of have to roll with that. Otherwise, it's false advertising.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, damn! Like, this tournament was really picking up, and now it's kind of. I wouldn't say it's chopped off at the knee, but I mean, it does have a little bit of the shine is kind of taken away.
Yeah, if you want any evidence that it's Baron Corbin's to lose now, it's since they've moved the thing to Monday, that's all you really need to know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do our typical skim through some of the matches, and then we'll talk about the ones that we've highlighted. So first up is AJ Styles versus Cedric Alexander for the U.S. title. That was announced this afternoon. I don't see AJ losing, considering it's in Cedric's hometown, so that means automatic loss.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Mandy Rose.
So we're both going for AJ on that one.
Well, it's kind of telegraphed.
Yeah.
Like, this match was put together in like 2 days.
I think it'll be another star maker for Cedric at least.
Yeah,
so.
This is a filler match basically. Good match, but nothing.
It might just well be the opener of the night, and
probably quite possible. Bliss and Cross versus Rose and Deville for the women's tag team title.
This one I'm a little bit hemming and hawing over, just because I don't see any reason to take it off the champs right now. But again, wrestling math. I think Nikki came out on top this week on SmackDown, so and she was getting bullied too. So I mean, I think it leans more towards the champs taking the win. She's overcoming her bully, and that's the kind of narrative I'm sure they wanna push against Mandy Rose.
I don't see them taking them off Bliss and Cross, right? Because there's really nothing for Alexa Bliss to do in the singles because they're focusing on 4 people right at the moment.
Yeah,
so
big time.
Might as well keep her busy with the tag titles. Man, they sure have bungled those titles since they've came to the main roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never thought I would say that I agreed with Sasha Banks on that one.
Well, apparently McMahon didn't even want them to begin with. He wanted to establish a division before they even introduced the titles.
Which I agree with him. Like, they should have really established it because they really only had a handful ready to go. So yeah, I don't blame them. But I mean, that's the whole thing about running a company, that put the right people in the right spots to make it successful.
Well, now that NXT's coming to USA, maybe they'll actually implement that tri-brand type thing where they'll defend it, because the NXT's live, so there's no reason why they couldn't start defending just to get them more exposure.
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura versus The Miz for the Intercontinental title. I don't see them putting I know the draft is allegedly coming, but I don't see them putting the title back on The Miz because he's Raw, and then Raw would have control of all the secondary titles.
But I've actually heard the opposite, is that they actually want Miz for SmackDown. And the fact that they haven't really done a whole hell of a lot with Shinsuke, regardless of Sami Zayn being a part of it, I think it's going to go to The Miz. I think they need that really hot kind of title. They need at least one title change.
I mean, you could even save that for the SmackDown.
For the show itself,
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I just have this feeling that it's going to be The Miz. He's gonna go out with the title.
This is the tough one because it seems so obvious, but it also there's a draft coming and stuff. So the next 3 weeks are going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting, because we're going to start seeing the pieces all put into place.
I'd be very happy if Nakamura came out on top, and then they really help push this new heel tandem with Sami Zayn to be a little bit more of a threat. But I mean, I just looking at the rest of the card, there's not a hell of a lot of face championship wins. So I think having at least one would really help. This one seems the most obvious.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Next up, the New Day versus the Revival for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I mean, I assume they're staying on the New Day, unless the Revival are going to SmackDown, which has been a weird because they barely interacted. Because
they barely been on Raw, but yet they haven't really been showcased on SmackDown
And the New Day hasn't been on SmackDown other than Kofi for the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
So this is a weird one to pick.
It's really weird. Like, I don't know where it's going to go. Like, my gut says to put it on Revival, just to have New Day kind of chase. But again, it also still doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense either.
I'm going to go with the New Day.
Just to be different again, I'm going to go with Revival.
Like, it's either or for this one.
Yeah, because this one, go either way.
There's really barely been a story the last few weeks other than the main two of Kofi and Randy. So this is very... Like, ever since Revival injured Xavier, there hasn't really been much interaction. So this is a tough one. But I'll go with New Day, I guess. Triple threat match for the Cruiserweight title. Gulak versus Korea versus Lince Dorado, which I'm kind of happy he's finally getting into a title opportunity, even though it's a triple threat and he's there to take the pin.
And the fact that, that the Lucha House Party is now featured in 2 pretty high-caliber matches in the past couple days.
Yeah.
In a week, actually, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Lince Dorado, one of the original members of the Cruiserweight division, and getting his first title opportunity. Like, even Grant Metalik had one before you, and he was in the one for the inaugural championship match. So
yeah,
just interesting. He's there to eat the pin, so I'm assuming Gulak's gonna retain.
Yep, I'm going with Gulak. There's still, these guys are not heavily on the radar to get that kind of a championship push. So
I'm so wondering what they're doing with 205 Live, because I really don't want it to go away.
But I would really love to see these guys hanging out with people from NXT. That'd be a trip. That'd be such a trip.
I don't know. Finally, the last of the, which has been promoted as the A story on SmackDown for a long time. Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan.
Okay, so this one I think
apparently it's a no disqualification match.
Okay.
So there's that.
Normally, on something like this, I would call it around the fact that you have this monster heel coming out and tearing shit up and being a terror, and you really want to push that further. But the fact that he's facing Roman Reigns, I've done this before, and I've come out short. So we're back to John Cena wins lull territory, and it's got to be Roman Reigns. Also for the fact that they botched this storyline so badly, I think they just kind of want to get to Sunday, end it, and then start fresh. Maybe put Daniel Bryan into the feud with Roman. I don't know how it's going to work, but I mean, I think this whodunit thing is run its course. It's just terrible now.
Well, if it was a straight-up singles match, I would agree with you. But now, because it's no disqualification, that just leaves the door open for shenanigans. And it's not like Roman hasn't taken the pin before for a guy.
But lately, he hasn't. Like, the last one he did was against Shane McMahon, of all people. So, since he's been back, since he's been back, he's still treated like the top guy. So really, like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have him lose against Rowan when, like, the storyline has just gone completely off the rails.
We're in this, like I said, we're in this weird holding pattern now because October 4th is looming in a couple weeks. So it's like a weird holding pattern because you got Fox coming, then Hell in a Cell and stuff. So I don't know. I'm going with Rowan, just to be different than you.
Oh wow. Okay.
But just because it's a no disqualification match, so shenanigans can be afoot.
Mm.
It's not going to be a clean victory, even if it's like Daniel Bryan or somebody else. It's all for the undercard. So let's move on to the main card. Let's start with the WWE Championship. Kofi versus Randy Orton again.
Mm-hmm.
This is clearly the placeholder till Hell in a Cell, where the final blow-off will be at Hell in a Cell. So it just seems that's the way they're going with this one.
Mm-hmm. And especially with the SummerSlam match ending in a double count-out, I think this is kind of like whoever takes this win has like the first fall kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's weird because, again, going back to wrestling math, Kofi did the table spot this past week on SmackDown, or just this tonight. So he came out on top, so that would mean that Randy is going to overcome on Sunday. But do you really want to hot potato the championship just to get to Hell in a Cell?
No, I
think. Do you do something
this
to make it?
This is gonna be another like DQ finish or something.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Another schmoz finish.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because why end this feud here when you have Hell in a Cell next month, and you could put those two and end this, make this the true blood feud. I mean, they've held out long enough. They might as well go all the way and finish it in the Cell.
Yeah. So I'm going to amend my pick. Kofi will retain, but I think Randy might win via disqualification. So Randy officially wins, but via DQ. But Kofi retains. That's where I'm going with that one. Because I'm thinking Kofi's going to be the one that gets disqualified. Because I'm assuming he'll have his family ringside, and then Randy will do something, and then smack with a chair or something.
That's the one thing I'm trying to decide. Like, I want to believe that Kofi will be the one to walk out with the title. I just don't know if he will win dastardly or cleanly or by a DQ kind of thing. So this one is a tough one for me.
So picks officially Randy, but via disqualification. Kofi retains.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that one. I think that's a safe bet, unless something happens on the night and we said that there's another no DQ kind of thing.
There's got to be a disqualification because the only way to settle this will be in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
because that will be the definitive end to that feud.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's on to losing to Brock Lesnar for Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Brock reigns for the next 7 years.
Or no, 5 years, as long as Fox keeps SmackDown.
Yeah, yeah, 5 years. All right. Let's move on to the SmackDown Women's title. Heel Bayley versus heel Charlotte Flair.
Yay.
Oh, this one has all the heat taken out of it as of 2 weeks ago because they're both heels. So Like, why should we cheer for either of them? I know Charlotte's going to get cheered because it's in Charlotte.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it's basically two heels going up against each other. This one,
well, you can kind of feel that Charlotte is a tweener on this one.
Well, she'll play up the face role on Sunday.
Oh, of course, she'll work face on Sunday, but she's kind of a tweener at the moment, just because. Well, it's tough to tell too, because a lot of people are cheering for Bayley as a heel because she has that edge that we've all been wanting to see.
Delusional heel Bayley, who thinks she's the hero of her own story.
Yeah, she's one of the analogies that I heard online was that Sasha is the Emperor and Bayley is Anakin. She's still kind of teetering in between, but she's following the bad guy because of promises that can't be kept. So she's kind of like just this fawn that's just a follower, kind of like a sheep, until the big blow up between those two actually happen.
Well, technically, Charlotte stood tall on Monday. Bayley ate the pin on Monday, so Wrestling Math dictates she will retain her title.
That's my pick too, because that's what I believe is going to happen. Because I'm sure we're going to get a little bit more between these four women just battling between each other. Because I think that we're going to get into Survivor Series where we start to see the tension between Sasha versus Bayley, because this is going to go into my picks for the next match, or for the women's Raw and women's match. We're going to see Sasha versus Bayley at Survivor Series, champion versus champion,
which I have written down next. So
nice.
Here's a match that Wrestling Math has no application to, because neither of them were involved in the finish on Monday, so there was no definitive who stands tall on that one. Raw women's title match, Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. I'm confused on this one because the rumors are strongly indicated that Becky will be moving back over to SmackDown when they go to Fox, because she's featured heavily in the Fox promos.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wait, do you say Sasha or Becky?
Becky.
Okay, I thought I heard Sasha going.
I might have slipped it, but it's Becky that's heavily featured in the promos.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, like I mean, it has to be Sasha. You have her back. She's the hottest heel on TV right now. For her to lose on Sunday makes no freaking sense. And I think to have Becky chase at least some sort of a title will bring her back to the prominence that we all sorely miss from January to April.
Plus, this is clearly setting up a Hell in a Cell match between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. And that can give Sasha her win in Hell in a Cell, since she lost in Boston all those years ago.
Like, I could see this one being another DQ finish and then Sasha winning at Hell in a Cell too.
Oh yeah, totally. But again, now we're going into a few DQ wins, and that's really lame.
That's why I'm confused. I wrote down Sasha, but I'm not 100% convinced on that pick, because I can clearly see her picking up the title at Hell in a Cell, and then they're back to split rosters again.
Mm-hmm.
Then it clears up Becky to move over to SmackDown without any interference.
Yeah. No, if you're saying Sasha with a little bit of confidence, I have a lot of confidence that Sasha's going to go for it. I think it's time to pull that trigger and at least have a major loss so we can build Becky back up on SmackDown.
Because if you think about it, Hell in a Cell features two Hell in a Cell matches, one for each brand. So this would be the Raw one, Kofi Randy would be the SmackDown one. So that makes the most sense. Mm-hmm. Although they're kind of setting up fucking Bray Wyatt versus whoever wins in a Hell in a Cell match or something like that.
I don't think that's actually ever going to happen. I really don't think so. I think they just did that whole thing last week just to kind of, fawn the fire, or pod the fire just a little bit, just to get the people talking about it. And there's no intention of Bray Wyatt challenging for the Universal Championship, in my mind, because I think that's really stupid to hotshot him into a title right away. But yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, if Becky wins, then yeah, great. For somehow she escapes with the title, and then we do it all at Hell in a Cell. But do I really want to wait another month for something like this to happen?
It's not a month, it's 3 weeks. So
regardless, it's still
quicker turnaround than this one.
No, I don't want to wait 3 weeks. I'd rather Becky try to earn her shot for her rematch in Hell in a Cell, and then she just gets decimated. Maybe even Bayley comes and interferes, so then you can probably get Bayley versus Becky in the wintertime.
I'm confused of how Clash of the Champions got the typical SummerSlam build of like 6 weeks, and SummerSlam only got like 3 weeks.
Yeah, right.
I'm like 51% confident Sasha's gonna win.
Yeah.
So
I'm at around 75-80.
So I wrote down Sasha, so that's my pick, locked in. 51% confidence.
Are we turning into the going in Raw crew?
No,
we
it's
have
just,
confidence points.
No, it's just like this. This is the only pick that I'm not 100% sure on.
And don't worry, we love Steven Larson.
Yeah, I just like. I'm not like fully in on my pick, but I'm gonna make it. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
Well, if you're wrong, then I'm wrong. So really, no points will be awarded on that one.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next one, I just wanted to say this fun. Speaking of Steven Larson, hearing their origin story, and how they've come to do their stuff, it's very close to how you and I have done this. Like, we went to school together, we kind of worked together back then, and then we do a wrestling show together.
Great minds think alike.
For the Canadian version of Steven Larson.
Don't you know me?
Now we just need to get some merch done.
Merch and some. Let's get some of those Manscaped promos. Because I don't think we could make it through one of those without doing like 15 takes.
Yeah, true. But then, or get like Manitoba Mucklucks promotion. That's more on our brand.
All right, let's move on to. Basically we're combining 2 matches into one. So let's start with the Raw Tag Team title: Seth and Braun versus Dolph and Bobby Roode.
Rudolph.
This is such a dumb match. This should this should be the OC versus the Viking Raiders.
Oh God, it should be. Like,
why? But the WWE sure loves this trope. They dust it off once every few years. Where the
2 years, every couple months they dust this off. Man,
when was the last time they did the title challengers teaming up and winning the tag titles? It's been a couple years at least.
Oh, that trope. I thought you meant like the...
No, not that trope. Like
the 2 singles guys just randomly getting together and getting a tag team championship. Like, they've done this now twice in a month.
Oh yeah, no, not this part. Like the one where the 2 people fighting for the main championship win the tag titles, and then
the only one that I can remember is with Undertaker and Stone Cold with the...
They did it with Cena and Michaels back when WrestleMania 23.
Yeah, that's where I wasn't watching it, so...
That's the last one I remember. They do dust it off every few years.
Oh, yeah, they totally do.
Because they've done it, so yeah. All right. Where were we? Rudolph versus Seth.
Picking a winner.
Yeah, Rudolph versus Seth and Braun. I got Rudolph winning.
Yeah, it has to be Rudolph.
Because this is going to be an early match show. This is going to be an early matcher. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to screw somebody. Or Seth's going to bump into Braun.
They're not going to be on the same page, so they can't work as a team, and then they end up losing the championship. They get all angry with each other, and then when they go into the match, then there's some heat between them.
Yep. So telegraphed.
Well, this has Vince written all over it. This is something that I'm sure Vince said, this is what I want. Like everything else, Paul, you can do whatever else you want and pick and choose how you want this to happen, but this has to happen for this quote unquote A story on Raw.
Yeah, but let's sidetrack this. Like, Raw has improved in the last few months.
Oh, it totally has.
So,
God,
clearly Paul Heyman has some influence on.
But again, it's most of the stuff that's been great on Raw hasn't been because of Seth and Braun.
I guess Braun's like a Paul Heyman guy now or something.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Which is great because, I mean, we've seen his improvement since Paul Heyman has essentially come on board. Like, he's been really pushed, and he's really showing that stuff that made him so good when he first was coming up. So, I mean, I'm glad to see that version of Braun has returned and someone who can actually be a title contender. So I'm happy for that. But, I mean, it's just the lame trope of this whole thing has just been like, ugh.
I mean, the tag team match is so telegraphed of what's going to happen. Braun's going to get mad, leave the match. Seth on his own, lose the title. Then confront Braun backstage. Hey, man, what's up?
Yeah.
So, Rudolph I have winning.
Okay. Yep, so do I.
All right, Universal title match. Seth Rollins defends against Braun Strowman.
This one, you think it should be telegraphed, and rightfully so.
Here's the thing. As you think it's not going to happen, but the backdrop of the Fiend overlooms this match as well. Like, will he interfere in this match as well? Because if they take I don't know where they're going with this. Because the Fiend,
and that could be something that they could do is essentially another DQ finish because the Fiend interferes, and now you have a triple threat match at Hell in a Cell between these two and the Fiend. So you can essentially do something where the Fiend doesn't lose. He just runs roughshod on everybody. You could have him win the belt, or you could have him just kind of destroy everybody and leave and just say that, the Fiend doesn't need belts, or the Fiend doesn't do this, and kind of explain it away. I might make the Fiend look like a goof, even though I think he's a kind of a goof to myself, but that's a way that everyone can win. You can see the Fiend being a main event contender, but also not win the championship. They kind of keep his mystique. He's just a shark that just will come in, tear things up, and then leave. He has no need or no reason to win belts. But for me, I don't want the Fiend. I don't want the Fiend anywhere near this. I don't want him challenging.
His presence still looms over it.
That's if the commentators make that a thing. They start mentioning it during the matches, then that looming thing. But I think the only time we'll actually get any kind of an idea that the Fiend is going to be a part of this is if he actually shows up at the end.
It's perfectly highlighted this week with Stone Cold and The Undertaker coming out at the beginning of the shows, and the massive amount of pops and stuff like they get. And like, what's the biggest complaint of modern day WWE? There's like no superstars.
Yeah.
But the WWE actively takes steps to make sure there's no superstars because they cut like pushes out from each other's legs. It's like, remember when Rusev got over? Mm-hmm. Then they punished him by taking everything away that made him popular and stuff like that.
Exactly. They want their performers to be internal revenue streams, not independent revenue streams. Whatever money these guys make, they want it for the WWE, not for themselves. They don't want a Rock. They don't want an Austin. And now I bet they probably don't like it that John Cena's doing the same thing. So, and I'm sure they didn't like it when Batista did the same thing. So they don't want these guys leaving, using the names that WWE built to build themselves their own careers. I'm sure that's a Vince thing, and he's kind of sour that there's no loyalty there. But they can't do that forever.
Especially with the Fiend, he's making so much money apparently for the WWE lately. They could have made him like this big thing if he had gave the mandible claw to either the Undertaker or Steve Austin this week.
Mm-hmm. That would have been huge.
But
granted, I don't see either of those guys doing it because I think there's some superstars who are untouchable. And I think that's Austin, and I think that's The Rock.
I'm sure Austin would have done it. He seems like...
I'm sure he would. He's totally that guy that would...
Did you not...
As long as it's something that will help get a guy over and it's not a waste, then yeah, he'll totally do it.
Just imagine the buzz that would have came out, like Austin doing his beer bash by himself, and then the Fiend just shows up and takes out Austin.
Oh, God, yes. That would have been incredible. That would rule the news.
But nope, they just let him do his beer bash. Oh, well.
Well, hell, I mean,
we don't need new superstars.
If there's no Fiend in Hell in a Cell, there's still lots of time to build that character up, and then we could eventually see an Austin Fiend confrontation.
Because you can tell Bray Wyatt's like a lifer now. Like he's not gonna leave. Why would he leave?
Yeah.
Anyway, the specter of the Fiend looms over this match at least. So because, like you said, this could be a non-finish, and then it sets up a triple threat, which the Fiend doesn't even need all he needs to do is look strong. He doesn't need to lose the match. He doesn't need to take the pin. he can just create chaos and just leave.
I just don't see any reason for Seth to lose the belt.
I don't see any reason either.
Because I mean, there's other than Braun and maybe AJ, there's no real contender out there. And for AJ, he has to lose that U.S. title first.
Because the deck hasn't been shuffled yet. So
exactly. So we don't know who's coming for who, and then we won't see contenders, like solid contenders, until the new year, because we have to focus on Survivor Series right after Hell in a Cell,
which is brand versus brand.
Exactly. And they're not going to do a crazy feud at whatever a TLC or whatever the hell the December one is.
No, so we're in a holding pattern to Royal Rumble, basically.
Basically, we're waiting to see what we're on a holding pattern right now for the draft and SmackDown on Fox, and then after that we're on a holding pattern until the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I don't see them taking the belt off Seth.
But then it's kind of stupid so that you're gonna make Braun look dumb again in the title match. So yeah, like I would say having the no finish with the Fiend interfering makes sense, but I just don't want I personally just don't want it to interfere with this push that Braun is getting. Regardless of how I feel about him, I don't see it really working out, because then you're gonna get two non-finishes for this title match in a row for this.
And here's the thing: it's you either have the Fiend interfere or you have the OC interfere.
Yeah,
because they've been involved in this presence as well.
So then maybe you do AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, and Braun Strowman for Hell in a Cell.
We're in a holding pattern. We need a quality title match. Call AJ.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll do it
as well. Because I mean, I don't know how long he has left in his contract, but I mean, he hasn't been in a Hell in a Cell match yet.
Well, he signed for, I think it's 5 years.
So I mean, yeah. So put him in a Hell in a Cell match now. Might as well.
Before his body breaks down.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, yeah. But the fact that you can have, we know Seth and AJ can go like no one's business. We know that AJ can sell for Braun like crazy. Like you already have, like that triple threat match would be fire, especially putting it in a Hell in a Cell. Oh yeah, that'd be crazy. When was the last time you saw a triple threat Hell in a Cell match?
The only one I can think of is that 6-man one from Armageddon, like 20 years ago.
Like, that was there's there's been the tag team one.
Yeah, there's the tag team one.
But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a lot of multi-man Hell in a Cells, and especially with AJ being the U.S. champ. Yeah, he doesn't need to lose it anytime soon. He could just insert himself into the title picture, or he can lose the U.S. championship and then he can just go piddle away with the Universal.
It's this Clash of Champions. Let's recap our main picks. I have Randy winning via DQ, but Kofi retaining. Bayley, Sasha Banks with like little confidence on that one. Rudolph, and then Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it's basically the same as my picks.
This is like a higher quality version of Fastlane, where we kind of know where the picks are.
Mm-hmm. But there always has to be that one wild card finish that we don't see coming, because there's always that one that kind of shocks us. As, oh, they actually went that way. Like, okay.
So that does it for the pay-per-view. That's this Sunday on the WWE Network. I forget when it starts. Probably the same time as normal pay-per-views.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
It's been one of those days. I did remember a piece of news that I read yesterday. The NXT might be getting a mid-card... NXT UK might be getting a mid-card title, and it sounds like the European title might be coming back.
Nice.
So...
and then, I heard that AEW is doing the same thing, too. They're going to do a singles male mid-card match, or mid-card title.
I don't see them doing that till, May, Double or Nothing next year.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the first few weeks of the TV show is the tag title tournament, so they don't need to introduce a new title. Establishing
the women's roster and then the main event roster, so give it time to establish who's who, make some mid-card stars.
Yeah, let's we got a couple minutes. We haven't even come close to an hour. It seems so long ago, but it wasn't that long ago. All Out it's like a week ago.
Yeah.
A little over a week ago. What do you think of the show?
I didn't mind it. I mean, there was a lot of production hiccups that kind of bugged me. But yeah, I enjoyed the majority of the matches. Like I think there's the lull in the middle, which really brought me down. But then they were able to bring me back up.
That's the thing with the AEW cards I've noticed. They have these weird lulls in the middle. It's like if they just switch like 2 or 3 matches around, they'd be like a solid flowing card.
Mm-hmm. Like it was front heavy, then the middle dragged, and then near the main events is where it really picked up.
I think I said it on Twitter. It's like what I thought of like. It's like it depends what you're comparing it to. Because if you're comparing it to All In was a way better show.
Yeah, of course.
If you're comparing it to Double or Nothing is the better show. If you're looking at all the AEW events, it's probably like the second best show. It was okay. It got good at the end. Like it did drop it a lot in the middle. I also watched half the NXT UK takeover before I watched just Killing Time before All Out started. Because I taped it in the because I switched up my Saturday thing, so I taped it. I didn't watch it live, so I watched like half of it, and then I watched the back half, featuring the fucking amazing Tyler Bate Walter match. That was probably the best match of the weekend.
Yeah.
Next to the How Did They Not Die ladder match.
God. Like we had I was at my girlfriend's in-laws, her sister's house, and I watched it with my brother-in-law, and then the girls don't like wrestling at all, so but they didn't want to sit in the dining room waiting for us to watch wrestling, so they migrated their way into the living room and just kind of made their snarky remarks about what's this, what's that. But then when they started seeing some of those bumps that the Bucks were taking, they were getting wincy, and then they were cringing at a bunch of it because they were like, "Holy shit, how is that fucker not dead?"
I forget which Jackson brother was, the one that clipped the ropes on his way down to the table.
Nick.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that was scary.
Like that almost went horribly wrong.
Yeah, big time.
That would have put a black cloud over AEW for a while there.
Well, hearing from when I just watched Being the Elite, and they were saying like it was the first time they've ever went to the back, and there was people waiting for them with horrified looks on their faces, and pretty much everyone would tell them like never do that again.
Solid show. I don't know if it's a sneak peek or what we can expect, because if that is, they gotta
push a little bit harder.
They got to do some more backstage stuff and stuff to break up the show that makes it kind of more engaging, because people get burnt out if you just do wrestling match after wrestling match after
wrestling. Big time.
Like I think we say it all the time, but takeovers have like the best card version of, like, they have 5 matches, 6 maybe. That's all you need.
Big time. Yeah, that was the one thing I noticed with All Out. It felt longer than it needed to be.
Yeah.
I think if they would have, honestly, if they took out the Joshi match and then the Dark Order Best Friends match, you would have had a solid pay-per-view. Like, no one would be complaining. I think there's a lot of people who are just like, it went to the 5-hour mark. It's like, it didn't really need to.
Like, even look at SummerSlam Black Month. It was 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
The time wrestling fans will give you is between 3 and 4 hours.
Yeah.
If you're
I would give WrestleMania the 4.5 hour, or because it's WrestleMania, and if you had like a bomb card the entire way through, just copy the formula of WrestleMania 17. That was like 4 something hours, and every single match was fire. Every match got time, and like.
No, you have to be there for at least 8 to 12 hours for WrestleMania now.
Fuck, it makes no sense.
Nope. Anyway,
like I missed that's the one thing if you make it on a pay-per-view match, or like on this variation, if you make it to WrestleMania, it's because you earned the right to be on WrestleMania. That's why you get the pay-per-view bonus, because your program has allotted you that spot on that major card, instead of trying to fit every single member of the roster onto that card and bogging the show down.
Like, I get the pre-show battle royals, but we don't really need, like, us as fans don't really, if you're there in the crowd, that's fine. That's like a special treat for them.
Exactly. We don't need to be sitting watching a 7-hour pay-per-view. That's just ridiculous.
Anyway.
And again, we don't need to be watching a 5-hour pay-per-view for a bunch of people we don't know or don't have much invested
75% of the roster we don't know of. and they don't have like backstage bits to even give them a bit of personality. So if you don't watch Road 2 or Being the Elite, you have no idea who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, like I said, this is where lack of TV is hurting them in their builds to the cards and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, unless you don't watch these 2 internet shows, you're gonna be lost.
Which, granted, I was one of the proponents of. I didn't see a point to have a TV show, but now watching it's like, okay, I get it now. Like, even though I am a big Being the Elite watcher, there's still a lot of things I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? Because that's the one thing is you have to jump through 3 different YouTube channels, like the Nightmare Family, Being the Elite, and the AEW channel. Like, well, why can't it all just be in one channel so at least I can catch everything like the WWE? Like I don't have TV, but I can figure out everything and what's going on just through one channel.
At least Being the Elite made a concerted effort to try to expand this is Private Party. This is why we like the Bucks like these people, and like this is SCU, and so Being the Elite made at least try to the attempt to expand.
Yeah, I mean, they should keep all the AEW angle stuff on the AEW channel, and then all the behind the scenes stuff that you wouldn't see, like the SNL kind of skits, keep it on Being the Elite, like the stuff that they were really good at. Mm-hmm. And then the Nightmare Family, I don't know, you could just do whatever Cody and Brandy are doing that week. Have that be just like a traveling vlog.
Well, the Road 2 stuff's not bad. It's just they tend to focus on one match.
They help. But I don't want to keep having to juggle between 3 different channels to try and find the whole story.
So this is why lack of TV was hurting especially in the summer. Like those 2 cards were like, I think 3 weeks apart. So like even those 3 weeks of TV would have helped. Anyway, that's gonna be fixed in less than 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we'll be able to watch it at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's been announced. Anyway, that's the show. One last thing, WWE's coming to town on the 20th. You're not going.
I am not going.
I might buy a last minute ticket because I'm kind of intrigued to see The Fiend up close live.
Oh, okay.
I want to see that whole presentation kind of live.
Mm-hmm.
I might try to see if there's any cheap secondary tickets or something.
I might keep my eyes open if, for all of a sudden, I see that AJ and Rey Mysterio get booked.
Well, AJ's on the card. I think he's going to defend against Ricochet.
Ugh. Well, maybe I'll wait and see how I do in Saskatoon. I might just do a cheap seat kind of thing and go, just so I can see AJ live for the first time.
Yeah, he's going to be there. They've been promoting him the last few weeks on the local ads and stuff.
Oh shit! I go on my Facebook all throughout. I see the promos for Calgary, so I'm just like, oh boy, like what do I do?
But apparently the main event for the Calgary Edmonton shows are The Fiend versus Seth Rollins. So. Oh
wow! So they're already putting out feelers to see how it goes.
So I just want to kind of see the presentation of The Fiend up kind of.
Yeah,
close.
I wonder if on a house show they will let him get a pin, or if they'll just have like a screwy finish.
Oh, it's probably going to be screwy finish. Yeah, but it's more of the presentation I want to see up close.
Yeah,
because the SummerSlam entrance was quite something. I just want to kind of see that up live.
You say so.
Well, the guy came out with a lantern shaped like his old head.
It still came out with a fucking lantern. It's the exact same shit he did before. Like, why are people jizzing over themselves for this? It's so... God, I don't want to go into a rant about how much I don't enjoy this whole Bray Wyatt thing.
He did have the biggest kind of like pop of the weekend for that. So
yeah, but just because they're dull.
People want to believe in Bray Wyatt. They've left money so much on the table with him. They're just hoping that they get it right now.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced. I'm not going to believe it till.
So far, the presentation of the Fiend has been good, but everybody's kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop.
Yeah, I'm still good. I'm still on the skeptical train, baby. I'm not believing it till
I just want to see it up close.
Firm evidence.
Because Bray, I just want to see it up close because it seems like it'd be kind of interesting to see up close.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I've never seen Bray Wyatt live, so.
Oh yeah, I did not the last one, the one before.
Yeah, I haven't seen him live yet, so because it's one of those people I haven't seen yet, so because I didn't go to the live house shows for years, so that's why I'm gonna look for like cheap tickets just to say I went and just cross another person off the list.
Yeah.
All right, that's the show. Where can people find your good shit, Bobby?
You can find the good shit at radpencils.com. It has links to my art page and my shop. You can also find all my links to my YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages if you follow any of those. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, please like, share, and subscribe to stay notified. We do this every month, plus any other AEW shows. And I do a new video of some of my artwork on every Wednesday and every Friday. And next week, I hopefully will end my MCU X-Men vlog series on how I would handle the X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So keep an eye on that. Parts 1 and 2 are already up on my channel. If you are in Saskatoon, I will be there in Artist Alley this weekend, table 904. So you can come grab all my good shit there and come say hi. But again, radpencils.com is where you can start the journey of things that are me.
So in Saskatoon, do you accept money the way Vince McMahon accepts money from Bray Wyatt? Just eat it?
Yeah, just put it in my face. I don't care.
Just eat it? Oh yeah, that's good shit.
I prefer it if you put it in my pants, but people will probably frown about that.
Yeah, then you wouldn't be invited back to the Saskatoon one.
Exactly.
So the Wasting Your Time podcast is once again available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, plus SoundCloud. That's where we host. Upcoming episodes, we still are going to do that MCU wrap-up. It's just one of those things where it's just I just need to find the energy and time to write down my notes for that one, and then we can book that one. We will be doing another live show for Hell in a Cell. Date to be determined, but we'll go live again for that one. Don't think we're going to do one for the draft because we already did kind of Super Show Shake-Up and we were completely wrong about everything. So I just want to kind of see how the first few weeks of TV for the new era of television contracts shape up to be. And I'm kind of on the fence if we're going to do a show for Full Gear.
It's November. We still got time.
We got we got over a month and a half yet. So.
Yep. Exactly.
I want to because I don't know if there'll be a point if TV's not available in Canada for the first little while. I don't see the point of doing Full Gear one when we won't be caught up on TV. So that's the only issue I have on it. So that's to be determined. So if there's TV in Canada for AEW, then probably we'll do one. But if the TV contract's not finalized by October 2nd, I don't know. So stay tuned for that.
Mm-hmm.
Another solid, smooth show.
Yepers.
So the next time we will see you is Hell in a Cell, which is 3 weeks after Clash of Champions. I think it's the 6th.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then we have because SmackDown's on the 4th. Anyway, we'll record it sometime in that week. So thanks, Bobby, for doing another wrestling show.
My pleasure, my friend.
For the Wasting Your Time podcast, I've been your host, John Wilson, and we will see you for Hell in a Cell.